As training camps open and the NBA season approaches, the league's biggest drama has nothing to do with LeBron James' future, a pending free agent, or even the title race. No, the association's most gripping soap opera is the paper trail linking Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer's LA Clippers, and a shady company called Aspiration. The fallout could destroy the Clippers as we know them, but the entire saga also underscores how much of a failure LA's Kawhi era has been. If you've been living under a rock or just need a refresher on the story first broken by the investigative journalism podcast Pablo Torre Finds Out, it's alleged that the Clippers circumvented the salary cap when they re-signed Leonard in 2021. The Clips are essentially implied to have given Leonard tens of millions of dollars worth of extra money, cap hit free, by funneling it to him through an endorsement deal with Aspiration, a now bankrupt eco-friendly bank and tree planting company. Ballmer was an investor in the company. Clippers-related investments in Aspiration coincidentally seem to line up with the timing of Aspiration's payments to Leonard. The agreement between Aspiration and Leonard stated the company would only pay him while he remained a member of the Clippers, and there's no indication Leonard ever actually did any promotion or work for the company. Aspiration co-founder Joseph Sandberg also recently pleaded guilty to multiple counts of wire fraud. The entire situation stinks to high heaven, and the NBA is investigating the matter. For what it's worth, Ballmer, a former Microsoft CEO, one of the richest people on the planet, and someone whose team has been fined and or investigated for multiple tampering allegations in the past, says he and the Clippers have done nothing wrong, that they were merely conned by a con man.
You expect people to believe that?
Ballmer better be able to prove his team's innocence, because while the league has been mocked for how it handles free agent tampering, it will bring the hammer down when it comes to cap circumvention, and the ramifications would be devastating. The most infamous precedent was the Joe Smith scandal in Minnesota. The NBA determined that the Timberwolves had an under-the-table agreement with Smith, whose string of cheap one-year contracts was just a bridge to bird rights and an already agreed-to long-term deal. Then Commissioner David Stern came down hard. Smith's contract was voided. The Wolves were fined $3.5 million, and Minnesota lost 4 first-round draft picks. Adam Silver may not strike fear into teams the way Stern once did, but he'd surely make a similar example out of the Clippers if the reporting proves accurate. After all, what LA allegedly did is worse, using a third party to funnel funds. The Clippers already burned through draft picks to acquire Leonard and build competitive rosters around him, leaving themselves without control of their own first-rounder until 2030. Imagine the long-term damage if their allegedly improper dealings rob them of another half-decade worth of picks.
There's going to be nothing left.
From a basketball perspective, Smith was nothing more than a solid starter at the time Minnesota cheated to acquire him, whereas Leonard was already a Clipper and only 2 years removed from arguably being the best player on the planet. Even if both teams broke the rules, perhaps you can make a case that there was more honor in the Clippers doing it for a superstar's services. But the Clippers barely have more to show for their troubles than the Timberwolves did a quarter century ago. Since originally signing Leonard in 2019, fresh off his second Finals MVP award, the Clippers have won just 3 playoff series, appeared in 1 conference finals while he was injured, and never made the finals. And since the 2021 contract in question, all those counters are at 0, with some of the team's most inspiring stretches coming while Kawhi was sidelined. It's not necessarily anyone's fault. When the future Hall of Famer has been available, he's been excellent. But Leonard has missed 44% of regular season games and 30% of postseason contests during his Clippers tenure. Then again, the Clippers knew all about Kawhi's spotty injury history when they moved Heaven, Earth, and a young Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to secure his commitment alongside Paul George in 2019. Leonard also tore his ACL a few months before signing the 2021 max contract at the heart of this story. And the Clippers were still so desperate to retain him that they, allegedly, chose to break the rules and risk the franchise's long-term future to do so.
That's the sunk cost fallacy.
The Clippers had spent this summer quietly building arguably the deepest and most complete team of the Leonard era. Unfortunately, that squad will now be forced to play in the shadow of a scandal instead of simply being haunted by the usual specter of Leonard's day-to-day availability. Whether the NBA can prove any wrongdoing remains to be seen, But the sad irony of this story is that the Clippers were already paying Kawhi for what too often felt like a no-show job. They didn't need to circumvent the salary cap to do it.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.